Hey, my name is Jim McLaren. Today we're going to look at a split plug. I've got these in my kitchen. I guess today's kitchens, they don't have split plug no more. They have these ground fault plugs. Anyway, we're going to look at a split plug today and how it is wired. First thing you got to do is you're going to bring 3 wires in. So you're going to have 110 coming in here, 110 coming in here on the gold side here. And you're going to break that tab in between there. You're going to break that tab in between. On the neutral side, that tab stays intact there. So you're going to have 110 coming here, 110. You have to break that tab or else you'll trip your breaker. So here's how it is wired. So you got 3 wires coming in plus the ground. I had to substitute yellow for neutral because it can get white. You can see it. The neutral wire comes in here, goes this side of the plug. Now the red wire comes in here to the top or the bottom, doesn't matter. The black wire comes in here. Your ground wire comes in, grounds to your outlet and then to your plug. Now with the red wire goes back into your panel, goes to one breaker and they're tied together with a little pin, and the black wire goes to the other breaker tied together with a pin, so they both trip at the same time. If this one trips, it'll trip the other one as well. The green wire or the ground wire goes to the on the side panel here, and the neutral wire goes to your neutral bar here. So we'll look how it's wired today. Today we're going to talk about a split plug for your kitchen. Now, I guess the newer kitchens now, they don't have split plugs anymore. They have GFI breakers in them now. Anyway, a friend of mine was redoing his kitchen. He had all ivory colored plugs in his kitchen. He said, I'm going to change all those ivory ones to white and match the kitchen. And he called me up. He said, Jim, I got a problem. The breaker keeps tripping. I don't know why. So I said, okay, I'll come to take a look. So I went over and I found that he had 2 wires coming in. He had a black and a red on one side. He had the neutral, he had a grounded, everything was right. But I said, you've got 220 coming in here. You have 110 in here and 110 in here. You've got 220, that's why your breaker is tripping. You have to remove this little tab between them. Now, if you remove the tab, it becomes a split plug. 110 on this side, 110 on this side. Going back to the panel, each one has its own separate breaker. So here's 2 different receptacles. Now the tabs are there on both of them, but this one here, you can see it a lot easier. It's a little bit bigger. The newer ones have just got a small tab in between them, easier to break. So if you're running a split plug, you have to break that tab between the 2 golden screws here. So this is an older one. I'm going to use this one as a demonstration today. This is an older one. You can see the tab here. You can see the tab here a lot easier here. So you have to break that tab off between the 2 gold screws here. And you can probably get a screwdriver in there, but just break it apart with a pair of pliers here. Now it's apart. Now you've got a split plug. So you got 110 on this side and 110 on this side. Remember, this is a split plug, so you put one black wire here and red wire, doesn't matter which way you go, red or black. And then it's broken off in the middle. Now you get a 110 coming in the top, a 110 coming in the bottom. And the silver side, it's where the neutral wire goes. It's not broken, so don't have to worry about that. Just these 2. So we'll loosen them up here and then we'll put the wires in. So it's important to know that you got a split plug, you got to break that tab off in between there. So now you can need a black and a red, so you need a 3 wire plus ground. So black and a red on this side, and then the white goes on this side. You don't have to break that tab. The white just goes back to the panel. The black and the red goes back to the breaker. So you need 14 3 wire. You can need a black, a red, and a white, and a ground. And you put it in the box here. Just show you how to hook it up. I won't be able to hook it up right to the panel because, but I'll show you on the breakers how it goes in here. There's wires in here, side here. take that side plate off so I can get at the ground. You can see it better. Loosen that screw and that plate will come off here. Now here's where the screw is for the ground. So loosen that screw, and then we're going to put the ground wire in the back here and tie that in there. And always loop it the same way you're going to turn it here. So we're going to turn it this way, you loop it this way. So got the ground in here, then I'll work on the plug. So all 3 wires are going to be looped here. I like these Milwaukee for looping. Just close the pliers up and just loop it. Very easy. Loop the black one on the top or the bottom, or the red one on the top, but it doesn't matter. Just loop them, and when you loop them the same way you're going to tighten it. So we're going to tighten this way, and you're going to loop it the same way. You got 110 on the top here, the black wire, and 110 on the bottom, because it's now considered a split plug because you broke that piece in between there. So black on top, red on the bottom, 110, 110. The neutral wire can go either screw. It's not broken in between them, so it doesn't matter. Just put the neutral out in whatever one you want here. Just hook it in, tighten it down, loop it the same way you're going to tighten it. Important to know that. Now hook up your ground wire, loop it the same way, tighten that up. Now all your wires are connected here. Make sure this screw is already tightened down. So again, we've got 3 wires coming in here, a black to the top half, and we've got that piece of metal broke off between the 2 screws here, and red. So this goes to a different breaker, this goes to a different breaker. And the neutral is on this side here. You don't have to break that off, and your ground wire is on. So now we'll hook it up to the breaker just to show you. So if you have a split plug, you require 2 breakers tied together. 2 15-amp breakers. The only ones I have is 220s here. They'll have a pin between the 2 breakers so they both trip at the same time. If you didn't have that pin, one would trip, and then you go into your outlet and you'd have a live wire there. So that's why they have it connected together. So if one trips, they both trip. So you'd have a black wire coming in here and a red wire coming in here, and that's how you get your split plug, 110 on both sides of that outlet. You have to break that little tab in between there so that you'll have 110 on one side and 110 on the other side, your split plug. Here's your plug. Now this should be 2 15s, not 220s. I don't have 2 spare 15s, and it's tied together with this pin here. So what you're going to do is put one black on one side and red. Now that's your split plug. And there's a little gauge on here. See the little gauge here? Tells you how much wire to cut to go inside there. There's a little gauge there. We're going to cut that off there a bit. See on the red one. So just hook your black and red wire into each breaker here, and there's a set screw that holds them in here. So you had a black and a red coming in here, two different breakers here tied together. Remember, this is supposed to be 215s. They don't have spare ones here, so I use 220s here. And the white wire will go to the bar inside your panel, and same with the ground wire, it goes to a bar inside your panel, and then you're finished. So like I said before, if one trips, they both trip. This is my ITE Blue Line panel, and it's live here, so I'm not going to touch anything, but I'm just going to show you. So we get a double 15 here, another double 15, so it's got a clip in between them. So these two breakers are for the split plug. So a red wire goes on one side, and a black wire goes on the other side, going to your outlet. So one will go to the top of your outlet, and the other one to the bottom. You break that tab in between. Here at the bottom is your where you put your neutral wire, and notice that all these screws are all silver. Same thing in your outlet. Their screws are all silver. And of course on the side here, that's where all your copper wires, your ground wires go on either side here. So I hope you enjoyed my video on the split plug here. And this is just a demonstration of how to hook up to the breakers. You would have to actually do it in your panel. So please subscribe to my channel and ring that bell to be notified next time I upload a video. To thank all my subscribers, all my new subscribers. Thanks so much for subscribing to my channel. Watch this for the first time today, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Have a great one, people.